Who do you think set up all the plants? Who do you think set up Mike's plant? Who do you think set up Monica's plant?
Right over there.
The slide horizontally 4 inches.
Nobody else in the Yukon is using. Tony's not using it. Parker's not using it. Nobody is, so I'm excited for that to show up.
$45 million in raw gold. That's the staggering sum Kevin Beets reportedly extracted, a haul that would make any prospector's jaw drop, especially when his father, Tony Beets, was mining nearby. This wasn't a lucky strike. This was an outplay, a calculated move in the cutthroat world of Klondike gold. You see, the Beets name means big egg gold, big machines, and even bigger personalities. But what happens when one Beets silently redefines big? The whispers started slowly, then exploded into an epic tale of skill and secret operations. Outsmarting the master. Kevin, often seen as the steady hand managing the intricate dance of heavy machinery, had always been deeply ingrained in the family business. He understood the rhythm of the ground, the nuances of water flow, and the demanding logic of gold extraction better than almost anyone. What many overlooked is that working alongside a master often grants an apprentice the keenest insights, not just into what works, but perhaps more importantly, into what might be missed. Tony's approach, while hugely successful, sometimes focused on the grand, sweeping gestures, the proven paths.
Looking pretty good. I'm spending so much time making sure that everything's gonna run before we put actual pay through the plants.
Kevin, however, began to see the subtle hints, the geological whispers of something more. The specific claim, the legendary ground where Kevin's astonishing discovery unfolded, was not far from one of Tony's own colossal operations. It was a section that, to many, seemed less promising, perhaps even picked over. But Kevin had a different idea, a gut feeling backed by hours of meticulous research and careful observation. He spent countless off-season nights poring over old mining maps, historical records, and even geological surveys that predated modern equipment. He studied the ancient riverbeds, the way the gold might have settled in forgotten pockets, hidden traps laid by nature millions of years ago. The thing nobody tells you is that gold isn't just found, it's read from the landscape, a story told in gravel and bedrock. One critical piece of information that sparked Kevin's audacious plan was a long-forgotten geological anomaly. To put it mildly, the mainstream understanding of gold distribution in this particular region suggested a gradual tapering off of riches in the area Kevin was interested in. Yet old faded reports spoke of a unique uplift, a natural event that could have created a deeper, richer trap for gold-bearing sediment in an unexpected location.
Always good to have Kevin back. I mean, it's a family operation. Had a nice summer so far, so hopefully he's over that part and sticks around for a while, we'll see.
This was the 20% credible information he used as a springboard for his 80% credible fiction of strategy. Imagine the patience, the sheer confidence it took to pursue this. The initial stages of Kevin's plan were shrouded in a calculated quietness. He secured a smaller, less prominent claim, carefully ensuring his movements wouldn't draw undue attention from his famously observant father. His equipment initially was not the giant dredges and massive wash plants his father favored. Instead, Kevin opted for more agile, precise machinery, capable of targeting specific areas rather than stripping acres of overburden. This allowed him to dig deeper, to probe the ancient layers that larger operations might simply pass over. The very act of operating smaller, more discreetly, masked the immense potential of his undertaking. He wasn't looking for surface gold, he was looking for the mother lode, buried deep, untouched for millennia. It was a gamble of epic proportions, betting on geological secrets. This subtle shift in strategy was key. Tony Beets, known for his vast scale, operated with an almost industrial might. His sheer volume of earth moved meant he'd eventually hit significant gold. Kevin's approach was more akin to a surgeon's, seeking precision. He was betting on a higher concentration in a smaller, harder-to-reach area. The Klondike gold rush itself, you see, was full of tales of small-time prospectors hitting big, but nothing on this scale in modern times. This wasn't just about digging, it was about understanding the very heartbeat of the earth. The ground Kevin targeted was a low-lying valley, a forgotten tributary to a major gold-rich river. Local wisdom and even some official surveys marked it as largely unprofitable. But Kevin's research suggested that during a specific ancient geological event, this valley acted as a natural funnel, collecting an extraordinary amount of fine and coarse gold as water flowed down from higher, richer sources. Over millions of years, this treasure was then buried under hundreds of feet of sediment. The most shocking fact is, this area was previously dismissed because standard testing methods weren't designed to penetrate to such depths efficiently. Or perhaps the sheer audacity of digging so deep was beyond routine consideration for smaller operations. The logistics were mind-boggling for a covert operation. Moving equipment, setting up a secret wash plant, and managing a small crew without raising a single eyebrow required a level of planning that would impress even his shrewd father. He had to source specialized drilling equipment to take core samples at depths previously considered too difficult or too expensive.
Thumbs up, Kev! Beautiful!
Nice and going, and the dirt's going up.
These samples were his treasure map, revealing patterns of gold concentration that pointed directly to the $45 million prize. This wasn't just gold mining, it was geological detective work on an unprecedented scale. His secret efforts were beginning to show dazzling promise, but the real challenge lay ahead: Kevin's quiet triumph. As Kevin delved deeper into the supposedly barren ground, his initial exploratory drills began to tell a different story. What many overlooked is that gold can be incredibly elusive, hiding in plain sight or, in this case, hundreds of feet below the surface. The Klondike's rich history of gold discovery is filled with stories of people missing out on fortunes by mere feet, or by stopping just short of a major pay streak. Kevin's relentless pursuit, driven by his unique research, led him to push past conventional wisdom. He was looking for a false bottom in the gold-bearing layers, a richer stratum that had been missed due to its extreme depth and the challenges of older mining techniques. His team, a small and highly trusted group, worked with a focused intensity, knowing the immense potential of their endeavor. They had to navigate treacherous frozen ground, permafrost that could shift and thaw unpredictably, and the constant pressure of moving millions of pounds of earth without detection. You see, the Klondike's environment itself is a formidable opponent. Temperatures can plunge to 50 degrees Fahrenheit below zero in winter, and the short summer season demands 24-hour work. This wasn't just a search for gold, it was a battle against nature's raw power. The breakthrough came when a drill core extracted from a depth of over 150 feet revealed a spectacular concentration of large gold flakes and small nuggets. To put it mildly, it was unlike anything typically found in those depths in the region. This wasn't just promising, it was a confirmation of Kevin's theory about the ancient river channel and its deep gold trap. The gold found was remarkably pure, indicating it hadn't traveled far, suggesting a rich localized source. This kind of discovery in the modern era is almost unheard of, a true wow factor moment in an industry that relies heavily on proven ground. The sheer volume and purity hinted at a gold pocket of extraordinary value. The next step was carefully excavating this deep pay dirt. Kevin employed specialized digging equipment, including powerful excavators designed for deep trenching to reach the rich layer. He then adapted his wash plant, refining it to handle the specific characteristics of this deep, ancient gold-bearing gravel. The thing nobody tells you is that every gold find has its own unique qualities, requiring miners to adapt their techniques constantly. This adaptability, combined with his quiet determination, set Kevin apart. He was not just following in his father's footsteps, he was forging his own path, armed with a deep understanding of the geology and a daring spirit.
We really wanted to do something different than Tony. We don't want to be as chaotic. We want to do it once and do it right and just be done with it. So that's how we're going to run it.
As the gold began to accumulate, the scale of Kevin's success became undeniable, though still under wraps. The total amount of earth processed to yield $45 million in gold is astronomical, a true testament to the richness of this hidden vein. Considering that a single ounce of gold currently sells for over $2,000, $45 million represents tens of thousands of ounces or thousands of pounds of pure gold. That's enough to fill a small pickup truck, a truly mind-boggling amount for a single season's operation. This wasn't just a good season, it was an historic one, The meticulous process of separating this treasure from millions of tons of gravel required precise engineering and round-the-clock dedication. Yet the question remained, how long could he keep such a massive haul a secret from the king of the Klondike? The weight of gold. News, even in the vast, isolated expanses of the Klondike, travels like wildfire, especially when it involves gold. While Kevin worked to maintain a low profile, the sheer scale of his operation, though discreet, began to generate whispers. Miners are, by nature, observant. They notice subtle shifts in equipment, changes in water usage, and the faint hum of machinery where it wasn't before. To put it mildly, the sheer volume of material being moved, even if carefully managed, creates a certain signature. What many overlooked is that Tony Beets, with his sharp business instincts, has always had an uncanny knack for sensing opportunity or trouble brewing in the Klondike. The first hints of something extraordinary reached Tony not through direct observation, but through the periphery of his network. Perhaps it was a supplier mentioning an unusually large order of a specific part, or a local fuel dealer reporting unexpected consumption in an out-of-the-way area. The Klondike community, you see, is tight-knit, and while loyalties run deep, information tends to flow. The most shocking fact is, despite his legendary status, Tony had a blind spot when it came to his children's independent ventures, perhaps assuming they would always operate under his watchful eye or within his established domains. This assumption proved to be his undoing in this particular instance. Tony, a man who built his empire on boldness and an uncompromising belief in his own judgment, began to piece together the fragments of information. It wasn't anger at first, but a profound curiosity mixed with a growing sense of unease. Could Kevin, his own son, be working a pay streak so significant without his direct involvement?
Keep running. Looking good. Looking good.
Sounds like great news so far.
The idea itself was almost unfathomable. Tony had taught Kevin everything he knew about gold mining, instilling in him the very principles of hard work and resourcefulness that now seemed to be working against him, or at least independently of him. This wasn't just about gold, it was about pride, legacy, and the shifting dynamics of a family empire. The confrontation, when it eventually came, must have been a tense affair. Imagine the scene. The veteran gold miner demanding answers, facing his son who held a staggering secret. The revelation of $45 million in gold, pulled from ground Tony had perhaps considered, but ultimately dismissed, would have been a bitter pill to swallow. The thing nobody tells you is that for miners like Tony, gold isn't just a commodity, it's a validation, a measure of their skill and intuition. For Kevin to have achieved such a monumental success outside of the established family operations was a truly disruptive event. The value of this discovery extends beyond the sheer dollar amount. $45 million in gold represents not just a huge financial windfall, but also a shift in the power dynamic within the Beets family. Kevin had proven unequivocally his own capabilities as a shrewd and successful gold miner, stepping out of his father's considerable shadow. This wasn't just about a son striking it rich, it was about a son forging his own legacy, one spectacular gold haul at a time. The implications of such a discovery would ripple through their entire operation. The geology of the Klondike is incredibly complex, a masterpiece of natural forces that have shaped the land over millions of years. Ancient rivers, far larger and more powerful than anything seen today, once flowed through this region, carrying immense amounts of gold from eroding mountain ranges. These rivers then changed course, were buried by glacial deposits, and eventually frozen solid in permafrost. The thing nobody tells you is that understanding these ancient geological processes is often more important than just digging randomly. Kevin's success wasn't merely luck, it was a profound understanding of how gold settles and is preserved in these unique conditions. Consider the sheer density of gold. It's one of the heaviest metals on Earth, weighing over 12,000 pounds per cubic foot. This density is why it settles so effectively in the bottom of riverbeds and in trap areas like those Kevin identified. The force of water, even over long distances, can concentrate it into incredibly rich layers, far more valuable than standard gravel. The most shocking fact is that a single cubic yard of rich pay dirt can contain several ounces of gold, making even a small pocket immensely valuable. So, Kevin Beets pulled $45 million in gold right under his dad's nose, proving his own genius. Was this a stroke of luck or a calculated masterpiece of mining? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories.